I'm Kaycee.
And I'm Ray, and this is Pleasure and Play, the show. Kaycee and I found each other like many of you have, online, and more specifically, Instagram. Like two kids on a playground, we had the bright idea to start a business and form a friendship at the same time. Our platform, Pleasure and Play, provides a space for cross-generational fun and freedom. Kaycee was born in the 70s and me at the break of the 90s. So we've lived through different cultural eras that allows us to bring different perspectives and navigate sensitive discussions on life, love, identity, and so much more. We created this show because we are obsessed with being Black women and having conversations that reveal our complexities and simplicities alike. We created this show to celebrate the space we've carved out for ourselves, online and in real life, that allows us to disrupt our norms and dive deep beneath our personal comforts to give some voice to that cross-generational friendship. We believe that every person who watches will connect with some aspect of our journey and be inspired to choose more vulnerability and courage. We love the fact that we've come from two different eras and still we found ourselves in one another. And now we hope you'll find yourself here and enjoy the interactive exercises shared with our community here on Pleasure and Play the show.
So when he says things like, what do you want to eat?
Nope.
And I always struggle.
It's called Human Design Celebrity Edition.
Go with your gut.
Start your morning with us every Tuesday on the Be More Morning Show. We know you deserve to be more. You deserve to have more. You deserve to embrace and step into all of the wonderful things that make you you. And our morning show is going to help you do that. So join us every Tuesday for the Be More Morning Show.
We're in a new place today.
We are.
And
Isn't it lovely?
I would love for you to tell the people where we are.
Absolutely. We are at what I call the Partial Palace. That is the home of my parents. They are art collectors. They're collectors of all things. So this is just a really cozy space with some beautiful Black art and art that my father has created. Just a little bit of everything. So it feels really good. So that's where we are today. And we're actually also wearing, because we rated my mom, she doesn't know yet, we rated her jewelry case.
Yes.
And
Mom.
these are hers. So Mom, I know you're watching. You watch every episode, by the way.
She's literally the best.
So yeah, we're wearing her jewelry.
Yeah, so thank you for letting us in your home. We
Yes.
appreciate you. And this isn't my first time here, but definitely a special occasion.
Yeah.
Another to add to the books.
We're talking about human design. And I'm really curious, how did you even discover it? What prompted you to learn about it? Before you even tell me what your human design type is, what was the initial oh, I want to learn more about this?
That's a great question. Darn, I might have to dig deep for that one.
Well, how long has it been?
It's been years, since my initial
introduction to
HD. And I call it a magnifier. So I won't get too much into what it is. I think we should provide, for context, the definition of human design.
How about you do that? Because I'm I'm a newbie.
I'm not even going to attempt to do that on camera. Instead, we will plug it right here.
See, and there you have
the magic of
the information and further definition of human design.
Exactly. So
Now
HD,
that you know.
human design, I would say it's been about maybe a decade.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So do you remember then? Did someone introduce it to you?
I feel like I may have had this conversation with a couple of my girls back in Chicago.
Okay.
And that's because One of my close friends is an astrologer.
Awesome.
And so human design is, I wouldn't even call it an extension of astrology because it includes astrology in some way.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that was the circle I found it in, somewhere
Okay.
in Chicago with my sisters, my sister circle. So here's my design.
And here's my design.
Yeah. And so I'm a manifesting generator, as you can see. How about you, Kaycee?
And I am a pure generator. Yes.
So take a look at these charts, guys. So manifesting generator, full generator.
Yes. So our authority is in our sacral space, which I think really resonated for me when I found it.
Yeah.
So I literally just found out about human design last year.
Okay.
Never heard of it. No concept, no understanding. And I was in this place of, I want to learn more about myself.
Yeah.
Literally, that was the question I asked myself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, when you ask, you will receive.
Of course.
And so in that process, I then started to see more posts about human design.
Isn't it funny?
I was like, really? Like,
You
really?
ask.
And it came.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, let me look into this. This seems interesting. Literally, that was my thought. I was just curious about it. And so I went online, did a free chart, and then searched on Instagram because I wanted to find a POC that could do a reading for me.
Yeah.
And I had a reading done, got some more information.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
I think it's so cool because I call it a magnifier. I mentioned that.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know,
Why
kind
do
of
you
a way
call it that?
a way to zoom into yourself.
That's a good way to
That's
say
it. You know, and so there's a ton of magnifiers, and
That's a good point.
I will recommend different magnifiers through my coaching sessions for clients. You know, like perhaps this one would be good for you based on personality. Perhaps try this personality assessment. The way that we always pass back and forth quizzes to each other. So I would say human design, manifesting generator, sacral rooted. Feels in my body like making sure creativity, passion, sensuality, I think those are some things we have in common, is at the front of everything that we do, at the forefront of everything. Because it's when it's not, it's gonna feel like heavy work.
Yes.
But when we're playing and kind of operating from this sense of pleasure and play,
Which fits perfectly.
I don't even know how we found each other. Like, I mean, it is
so
perfect. What about you, though? Because it's a little different being a manifesting generator versus a full-on generator.
Yeah, so when I first was learning about it, some of it was really, what's the best way to, like, I had those aha moments of like certain things make sense based off of what I understood because it's not that I don't like to initiate things. I do, but I really feel like I need to pick up the momentum once something's been thrown out and then I can run with it. And it was great that my chart supported, it makes sense that you're like that. You're designed that way.
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah. So oftentimes, like when we're talking and you might have this idea, it will then spark my creativity.
Totally get
And then
that.
all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what about this? And then it's like the momentum's going and off you run.
There's so much there. I'll quickly go into just like visually as I hear you talking. I think about entering entrepreneurship for you and some of the things you've just shared with me around like, you know, I haven't done this before and I haven't done this, but then once you take off, so that spark is so great. So just so you guys know, there are several types of, several profiles. There's five to be exact. So
and they're right here.
Yeah. And so we are a combination, or I'm a combination of two profiles, but the majority of the population actually falls within the generator profile.
70-some%.
Yeah. So it's not unlikely that you'll meet many generators in your life. Ones that are, you know, the workers, so to speak, but that's not to be confused with being busy. I think that that's the lesson I've learned more than anything being a manifesting generator is that there's this sweet balance between the initial ideas being sparked and being kind of a conduit for ideas and then learning to delegate so that the generation side is actually, the generator side is being honored.
That makes sense.
To get all the things done without burning out.
Without burning out, right. And I think the thing for me as a pure generator is I have to be doing something I love. Like I have to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped me before I even knew what human design was. When I decided to leave my 9 to 5, it kind of happened dramatically. Like it was something in the, like, oh yeah, like if this works out, you know, I'm doing my own thing part-time. It literally got to a place where I couldn't go to, like I would go to my 9 to 5 and I was like, but it used to be a place that gave me a lot of energy. And then all of a sudden it didn't.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, I probably should quit. I think it's time for me to go. And it literally, what was so great about it is, like when I had thought about that before, there was a lot of fear.
Resistance came up for you.
And my gut was just like, oh no, you're not going anywhere. Yeah. But right when it got to a place of like, time to go, it was just like, oh yes, just go.
I don't know, the responding. Let's talk just really quickly. I don't know how much it's gonna take, how far we'll go with that, but one of our pretty much our job in order to be at our greatest selves is to learn how to respond to things appropriately, which is when you think of the word respond, think of the word react and think about the differences between the two. So being reactionary versus responsive. Reactions are what they sound like. Reacting or taking a stimulus outside of yourself and responding to that from a space of like energy. Whereas responding gives you the space to separate from the external stimuli and engage. And I think with us, we practice responding with one another. I've never had that before.
That's been fun.
Like, it's really cool because it puts you in checks and balance really quickly.
It does.
I'll ask a question, or Kaycee will ask a question, and we'll go, wait, let me see. Let me check in.
Yeah.
Let me not move so fast. What is my gut saying?
Yes. So I think it's funny. There was a question you asked me. Oh, I can't remember. Recently, remember? And I was like so emphatically no. And you were like, okay.
I don't remember what it was, but
you were like, yeah,
I know exactly what it is.
And I was like,
I know exactly what it was.
What was it?
It was about having guests on a particular thing. And you're like, no.
And I was like, no.
No.
Right. No. And like now I think as I learned through human design to just honor that.
Yeah.
Because often I would get to a place of like, did I respond too quickly? How do I know? Do I need to really think about this? And there are certain things where it's not meant to live here. It's really meant for me to feel it here.
Go with your gut, so to speak.
Yep.
Which is,
I like that.
We're not going to talk about chakras today, but like, you know, you have your solar plexus and then your sacral's right below it.
Yep.
So kind of that space of how does it make me feel here?
Yeah.
Do I have any like questions? Am I feeling any resistance? Does it feel good to me? Because when it feels good, or even neutral, you're in a better space than that kind of fear, tight, clenching, visceral response.
100%. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you know a little bit about DNA. So I wanted to touch on that because I don't even... you mentioned human design and then DNA, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I wanna." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know
my
what that
acronym
means.
for DNA.
Oh, what is
not literal DNA. It's an acronym.
What does it stand for?
Divine Natural Approach.
Oh, wow.
So I that's the heart of the work that I'm doing is helping people get back to their authentic expression, which ties all into this, which is why all these magnifiers really teach different approaches to the same information.
That's fabulous.
You know, so whether you are into astrology or human design or there's so many. Whether you're someone who's like, personality assessments are my thing. I love them. I love personality assessments, Myers-Briggs, discs, any of them. Disc,
emotional intelligence, all that.
All of them. They're, I'm a big fan of strengths finders. So all that to say, DNA, for me, human design is a tool that helps you get back to your divine natural approach.
I love that. Well, and I think it's important for me to think about, like, once I first learned about it, I did go down a rabbit hole. Yeah. Like literally one night, I think I spent hours just like reading about pure generators. I'm a 1-3 or a 3-5. I don't remember right now. But I was like trying to learn and understand. But I think we have to remember that this is like, take a holistic approach to understanding who we are. There's no set what,
No.
you know, I don't think there's anything that we should invest all of our belief into.
Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Everything with a grain of salt, and
Yeah.
everything you're likely gonna find something for you in anything that you go seeking.
That's so true.
That doesn't mean you want to take the whole thing.
It definitely doesn't. No, and I think one thing for me that really stood out is that church mindset for me clicked in.
Yeah.
And so I had to remind myself, Kaycee, you can still love God and
Yes.
understand your human design.
Totally.
Right? Like it's not.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. It's
Absolutely.
like, oh, so do you? Oh no,
yeah,
I believe in God.
Oh
now.
yeah,
That's
for sure.
Period.
Okay.
And I've also gained some very good knowledge and understanding.
Yes.
About from kind of the scientific, astrological, all the things that happened in the moment that I was born impacts the person that I am. And not just that, but my upbringing, my parents, my experiences, like all of those things make me who I am today.
I feel like God made us like gumbo.
He did.
So you're gonna have different recipes. Your aunt and mom might make it totally different and put the exact same ingredients in. That's how astrology or HD or human design or any of these external tools that speak the language of God.
Yeah.
That's how you have to look at it. Like, you cannot get caught up in the rigid,
for sure,
the rigidity that is religion per se. But I will say, as someone who believes in God too, I struggled with that, considering anything outside of the Bible.
Yes.
I definitely struggled with that growing up, and it took probably 10 years to get comfortable with myself and my relationship with God, to be like, we got this. Yeah. As in, we got this.
Yes.
As in, we got this. You know?
That.
So
that's important.
Every time we do a show, we have to have some play, right, with our pleasure. So we're going to do a game. It's called Human Design Celebrity Edition. So we are going to share a celebrity's name, and based off of the profiles, let's see if you can guess what profile the celebrity has.
All right. First, the lady,
Shout us up.
Mariah Carey. Which of those auras or profiles would you associate with Mariah Carey? Now, disclaimer, this is not easy. There's no way
it's like totally guessing.
New science, like, we are learning this together, but I can't wait to see what we all come up with. Okay. Letitia, can you tell us your answer?
I said projector.
Yes. Why I'm curious to know why you
what made you choose that?
Because I don't see Mariah as clearly she's talented, but she doesn't exude anything that says, oh, this is a creative being. She just has a talent, and I just feel like it's just something she had that she gave out to the world.
But I'm just going to read a quick caption from this source, which we'll share later. This quote talks about Mariah, her music career, and she says, she literally doesn't have to perform for the rest of her life as long as the world celebrates Christmas. Just sit with that for a moment.
That's Mariah Carey.
Sounds like projector to me, right? When you really think about the epitome of just like, I'm here to break that information, so to speak, and just fall back. And she's done her job one good time, and she never has to work again.
I love it.
This is good. Only 20% of the population are made of projectors. So when you get deeper into human design, that'll be some good information to look at too. Sade, the soul singer.
Love her.
Sade. I love Sade too. I love her. Just thinking about her makes me warm. Like, my whole heart just gets happy. So,
all right.
All different answers. Okay, you ready? Sade is a manifester.
What?
Very interesting. Even for me, as I say it, I'm like, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Her caption, Sade has a way of living her life and then emerging from the shadows to bring us what's been on her mind. for the last few years. Due to her cycles, I have a feeling we will be blessed with her new music soon. It says they are here to initiate, be trailblazers and change makers. Yeah, I could see it.
And I'm wondering if there's other things about her personally that we don't know that this really fits as well, which is just kind of interesting too, because it gives us another perspective, because we know her as, you know, a songstress, a writer, a performer, but yeah, this might give us another kind of perspective about who she is.
Yeah, I would also say she's a good collaborator. Because she collaborates with her band.
That's a good point. Yes.
Okay, so I was yesterday years old when I found out that Sade's band is actually her band's name, not actually, you know. So that's one of my one millennial like moments.
That's cute. I love it.
So, all right, next up we have Janet Jackson.
Ooh, what do you guys think? Janet Jackson.
Okay. Letitia, you got this one right. Janet is a manifesting generator.
Manifesting generator. All right.
Now there were two, everyone else said generator, and I can see why. I mean, when I think Janet, I would immediately think generator. But Letitia, why did you say manifesting generator?
Because I see me and her, and she's, you know, in several arenas.
I'm curious, Wallace, why did you say generator?
I mean, I feel because she's very creative in her music, her style. She's very hands-on, just like her brother was, Michael.
Yeah.
So that's why I said generator.
Love it. And Jasmine?
I was gonna say manifesting generator, and then I was like, well, I already put that once, so generator's close enough. But I say that because she's kind of bounced around in different avenues. Like Letitia said, she sings, she dances, she acts, and she's been doing it her entire life. So she has the energy to keep going and keep doing it. She takes her breaks, but then she gets right back to a whole new project.
Yeah.
I wonder what Michael was, because what you said that's different. Like she takes her breaks. And Michael really different that way. Like Michael was
true. On all the time.
Constant life on. Whereas Janet, she pops in and out as she wants.
Yeah.
Comes strong. I mean, she drops multiple part documentaries on us.
Right.
All right, next up we have Aretha Franklin. I love the oohs. What is Aretha, y'all? All right, generator.
I feel that, you know, she's here other than music. You know, she held several master's degrees, which a lot of people don't realize. So, not saying that she was more into herself, but I feel that she was more into the world, as far as just trying to give back to the world.
Cardi B. All right. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Cardi is a projector.
For her in her career, like she started off, I feel like she always had a vision for her life. You know, I mean, it didn't matter where she started at. It was like, well, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm gonna do the best at this because I'm gonna parlay it into something else. I actually felt like she was very similar to Aretha too. Same thing, kind of can command things, and you see something. I don't care what you called me. I don't care what you thought I wasn't supposed to achieve. It's like, no, I have bigger for my life, you know.
Something I've heard people say about projectors is like this thing about being invited to show up, and then once that invitation comes, they can really be them full selves. So this quote says, Cardi B is a great example of projectors minding their business and working in their craft, and then boom, the ultimate invitation arrives and skyrockets your life. At first, people laughed at her rap career because of her past as an exotic dancer, but Cardi saw the vision and stayed the course, and now she's the first female rapper to have 3 RIAA diamond singles. We have Beyonce. What song pops in y'all head when you hear Beyonce? I'm curious because I know everybody got one.
There's several of them.
Right.
If mine they're competing. It's like this one. Okay, perfect. Manifesting generator.
That is correct. You can see that, right? I mean, she
Yes.
makes things happen.
Yes, she do.
And it's not a game for her. If you've seen any of her documentaries, and I remember one of the things that pops out is that they said sometimes she's so focused on her work, she won't go to the bathroom. Like she's not, like she can't break away. She's just like zoned in. But she's manifesting, she's generating, and then she's manifesting. So I think that really fits. Okay, last one.
Y'all ready? Oprah.
What's Oprah?
Okay. Oprah. Generator.
Mm-hmm.
I see that. Totally see. I mean, Oprah's otherworldly though, so maybe we could just call her all of the things, right? We are talking about human design, and we got to give the people some good, like, personal application. So, can you tell us a time where you have used just your knowledge in this last year of learning human design to maybe shape a decision or, help you in your personal life grow and evolve?
Yeah. So so the first thing that comes to mind, and we're foodies, right? That's the thing, because I'm already thinking about lunch.
I'm ready to eat.
Is once I gained the understanding of how to use my authority in making decisions, I then shared that with my husband right away. I was like, listen, I think it's better if you ask me yes or no questions. Even though it's so interesting in my field as a therapist, I'm always talking to people about asking open-ended questions, thinking about how that expands conversation. But because this is my design, I don't need to always make decisions in that way. But conversationally, open-ended questions are amazing.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So when he says things like, what do you want to eat?
Nope.
And I always struggle, like literally struggle with that and become frustrated. And frustration is literally the, what is that word for human design? That. We'll flash it up on the screen. Boom. There it is. That happens to me.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, can you give me a couple of choices?
The non something.
Non-self.
The not
self. The not, see where they come together. The not self. Yes. So something as simple as that. And again, I remember like literally over the last couple years trying to figure out how not to be frustrated about something like that. And so my husband, as he was learning me, would, like, when we were, this is so funny, we watch a movie at home, he'll say, I'm going to send you 3 trailers.
Love it.
Like, I'm going to cut your thing down, right? And so I was like, okay, that's helpful. But then human design said, let's take it a step further. Look at each trailer. What is your
That's it.
Yes or no? And so I would just watch it, and I was like, or right? And it doesn't even have to be an audible yes or no.
Right.
Recognizing that I automatically do that anyway. I'm always,
okay.
I already do that.
Yeah.
So when I found out that literally was characteristic of someone, I was like, wow. So that's a simple kind of practical story, but it has helped me tremendously.
That's incredible. Like, I'm having all the revelations right now.
Yeah. Because
these are things that I know, but it's so nice to hear your story and go, how could I take this information and apply it to my immediate, and especially as I'm dating and these things come up where we can know about ourselves, hands down, know all the information about ourselves and still need practice in new relationships, new situations to apply it, the same information in a new scenario. So I know this about myself. I absolutely know when it comes to decision making, I'm a yes, no kind of person when it comes to just like quick things.
Yes.
If you got time, I got time.
Yes.
If you want to spend time listening to me figure out myself out loud, that's on you. If you really want me to be concise,
yes,
ask me yes or no. Give me 2 to 3 max options.
Yes.
Wow, I'm having quite a few downloads right now.
Are you?
Yeah. Okay, so story time.
Yes.
I don't know I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to tell you about what you've just shared.
Okay.
Which is, I recently had a situation dating. Okay. And I want to say we were trying to choose between restaurants came up. So of course it's about food.
Yeah. Theme.
We probably need to talk about that off camera. But we're choosing restaurants, and I'm the kind of person, if we have the option to go to somewhere neither of us have gone, I'm totally wanting to do that. Oh. But I also don't care as much about the places as long as there are options for me. Okay. But when you're starting off a new relationship and dating, you don't know truly.
That's so true.
You know, you put a lot of either what you have learned in previous relationships, or you just want to be considerate and give them a bunch of options. Probably not the best thing to do with me now that I'm recognizing that. And I'm learning this through this conversation, because it kind of resulted in me doing my analytical thing and going, well, this one, and this one, and then this one, you know? And by the end of it, I realized I kind of took the fun away.
Now you're tired.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
like mentally, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
And I took the fun away from his suggestion,
That's
truly.
a good point. That's a good
so
point.
it's like, I had to say to him, I was like, you know, next time, just pick the place. If you've been there, haven't been, I don't even care. Yeah. As long as there are options. Now, if there is something that I'm genuinely,
you're gonna say,
if it doesn't respond well,
yes, then
I will speak up. Otherwise, that's actually not that important for me to put my whole heart into.
Yeah.
Just go eat.
No, that's so true.
I mean, this is such good. It's simple.
Very.
I think the key is that it's simple. It seems like we don't have to overthink it. There are going to be moments where it comes up where you can, if you're a generator or manifesting generator, if responding is yourself. Yes. It can apply to anything. It shows up a lot for work for me, because when I meet, I have to have like an agenda. You know me. I'm like, we are not about to spin, because otherwise I just want to kick it. You know, I'm a natural talker. I just want to kick it. So the agenda keeps us structured.
I wonder if part of that comes from your manifesting side versus for me. I know I do better with the agenda, and it depends on the setting if I want to set it. Otherwise, I'm like, I'm less, because I want to respond to the agenda typically.
Question about that. Okay. Do you think that it's because of I won't say specifically your career, but perhaps your choice in how you show up in your career, meaning in therapy, you show up and listen?
Yes, I have to meet where they are at.
Yes.
So I can't come with an agenda.
No, you kind of have to let that guide you. Whereas coming into a space with someone like me who's like, all right, PM hat on. Let's
cracking the whip.
Only in those settings, though.
That's a good point. Yeah, otherwise not. Well, maybe.
We'll unpack that another episode. But for today's sake, in our relationship,
because in my 9 to 5, I was a manager. So I did show up. I had 20 plus people that I had to keep. So I couldn't just come into the meeting without an agenda. So it was a different side of me that got to come out in that space.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And I loved it though. But I also wanted to be very creative with it. So I was trying to, but I still wanted to respond to like the staff. Like I don't know, but I didn't know about it HD then. So I wonder how I would have been a different manager had I known. Okay. I'm curious about that.
I want all of y'all to look at this question on the screen, because Kaycee's giving me so much goodness. So look at this question. This is what we want you to reflect on today. You can take the human design quiz that we've listed here below. Reflect on this question, and we can't wait to talk to you guys about it on one of the morning show episodes. I feel like it's going to be so good.
two strangers from different generations that went from IG followers to real life besties. I love stories like this. And joining us today are Kaycee and Ray of Pleasure and Play. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Kaycee and Ray, Pleasure and Play. I love how that sounds. So good.
So, one thing that I love about my personality is my ability to make people feel safe and comfortable sharing with me, being vulnerable with me. I think that's one of the things I love about being a therapist, is that part of my personality just comes through naturally. I like that part of my personality, my open-mindedness, non-judgmental. Yeah, I like that.
One of the things that I love most about my personality is that I am a conduit for energy and creative potential. You know, I can help others tap into and get excited about, come back to life a lot of times after a setback or feeling like life has really maybe shadowed and made it hard for people to see the best things and the best potential in themselves. I can help, and people come to me to get that spark plug, you know, that burst of creative potential and that reminder of possibility in their lives. And I love that quality because it's what reminds me that I am a creation of God, that I am a part of this divine intelligence that is God. That's my constant reminder, because I don't have to intellectualize or think about that. It just happens when I connect with people.
And what I don't like, so I'm a recovering people pleaser. And I say recovering, but not fully recovered. And so one of the things about my personality that I struggle with is that I can be conflict avoidant. This is not healthy in any way, but conflict avoidance is very common for people who are people pleasers and who are concerned about people approving of them, liking them, not upsetting people. I think that's my issue. I feel like there's so much hurt in the world, so many issues, so much trauma people go through, that I never want to add to that for someone. I don't want someone to feel bad and know that I was a part of that, but that's not healthy. And conflict avoidance creates a lot of internal toxicity, as well as the inability to advocate or in a healthy way confront issues or concerns. And so let me just say, I'm doing so much better, but my default is definitely conflict avoidance, and I have to put a lot of effort. This makes me feel very vulnerable in this moment, but I do have to change my relationship with conflict.
One of the more challenging aspects, and something that I'm really looking to understand better in order to heal, is learning how to balance being a conduit for others and turning it off and like reducing anxiety within myself, because that anxiousness that comes with being a conduit and always being on. I feel like I'm always on, and it's hard to turn that off. There are very few times in my life that I can remember like that complete stillness happening in my youth and growing up. And as an adult, what that's translated into is like having to actively go into that space. It's not something that happens organically. I have to work on that. So I would say my life's work in order to remain a well person, someone who prioritizes wellness, is that I have to carve out and be very intentional around unplugging. I can be a spark plug for others under the condition that I learn how to unplug myself and let myself rest and be around people and in relationships that support that. So that is a constant checks and balance that I have to be mindful of.
I have a good heart. And a lot of people tend to walk over that good heart of mine. At the age I am now, I'm just to the point where it's no more. It's reached this limit, so now it's like, I gotta be cold to people because of other people, I really don't want to do that because that's really not in me, but I have to.
I love that I'm an open person, always willing to learn, and I consider myself a lifelong learner. What I don't care for as much is, even though I feel like I live out loud, I still find myself shrinking sometimes when I'm in maybe other spaces. I always feel like my experiences aren't as spectacular as somebody else's. I wish I would share more, regardless of what I think people might say.
Yeah. If it's a restaurant and you're inviting me and you're taking me out, I just need to show up. Yeah. Don't give me any options. As long as you know me enough to be able to invest in, take a look at the menu, consider me, and we're good.
They're not going to take you to a place that just sells liver and onions.
I hope not.
Do you eat liver and onions?
I do not eat liver and onions. I have back way as a child, maybe. When your family.
They tried to give it to me as a
child. I don't know if I ate it, but they tried it. Hey friends, we appreciate you so much for watching Pleasure and Play the show. Be sure you're following us on social media at iPleasure and Play.
And if you want to join in the Pleasure and Play as a virtual guest, please visit our website at www.ipleasureandplay.com.